members to get into the chambers. Also, at this point, no member is or rather will be allowed to walk out of the chamber. This is just so to ensure that the number is not in any way interrupted with until that particular quorum is raised. So if you're just joining us, is that the time allocated for the sitting is 2:37 minutes into it. The House is about to commence its business, just a quorum hitch. The prayer has been said and the chair taken, but that particular quorum hitch has made the House not to be able to commence, and therefore quorum bell is currently underway just to allow the members to make their way into the chamber and also enable the House attain that much needed quorum. As we await for the quorum to be raised, we shall continue to take a look at the key and priority business that is lined up for consideration. This afternoon, 3 special motions regarding consideration and approval of nominees for appointment to foreign service as a registrar and assistant registrar of political parties, as well as chairperson of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. Now, the Departmental Committee on Defense and Intelligence and Foreign Relations has recommended the House to approve the 9 nominees appointed to foreign service, that is as High Commissioner, Ambassador and Consuls General. And this is after the committee held, or all the nominees appeared before the committee for the approval hearings on 3rd and 4th September 2025, where the committee or the hearings assessed the nominees' suitability against established legal and policy criteria. So the report was laid on the table of the House yesterday afternoon sitting, and this afternoon this particular business will be considered by the whole House, with the committee recommending that the 9 nominees be approved for the particular appointments. The chairperson, Departmental Committee on... All right, the quorum has been attained. Allow me to hand you over.
Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Chairperson, Committee on Regional Integration. Who is the chair? Is it Lochakapong? Makali Mulu. Who is your chair? Irene Mayaka. Go ahead.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 24th September 2025. Report of the Select Committee on Regional Integration on its consideration of reports of the East Africa Legislative Assembly at the 4th meeting of the 2nd session of the 5th Assembly held from 23rd June to 4th July 2024 in Arusha, Tanzania. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Vice Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. Bed Simba.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 24th September 2025. Report of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife on its consideration of the President's Memorandum to the Wildlife Conservation and Management Bill number 3 of 2023. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Chairperson, Select Committee on Regional Integration, Makali.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House. No, sorry, Honorable Speaker.
No, you give notice.
Yeah, I think just some edits. Yeah, sorry, Honorable Speaker. Notice of motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report of the Select Committee on Regional Integration on its consideration of the report of the East Africa Legislative Assembly at the fourth meeting of the second session of the Fifth Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 24th September 2025. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Before I call the member for Rongo, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's gallery Kigumo Mixed Secondary School from Kigumo, Murang'a. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, I welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Thank you. Member for Rongo.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 259D 2A, I rise to pay tribute to the former Member of Parliament for Rongo, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno, EGH, EBC, who passed away on 7 September 2025. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno Anyango was born on 19th April 1945. He was an alumni of Strathmore College, where he pursued his A-levels before proceeding to Makerere University in Uganda for his undergraduate studies. He graduated in 1971 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Applied Economics. He began his professional career in 1971 as an accounts manager for insurance agency management, where he served until 1982. He thereafter joined the Kenya Commercial Bank board as chairman for 3 years before taking up senior roles, including treasurer of Kenyatta University Council and later chairman of Tasley Consultants. Honorable Speaker, the late Dalmas Otieno political legacy spans over 3 decades of distinguished public service, having begun in 1988, where he was elected as the first Member of Parliament for Rongo constituency. He served in 4 terms of Parliament, namely 6th Parliament, 1988 to 1992, 7th Parliament, 1992 to 1997, the 10th Parliament, 2007 to 2013, and the 11th Parliament, 2013 to 2017. In the 7th Parliament, he served as a nominated member, while in the 10th and 11th Parliaments, he successfully vied and was re-elected as Member of Parliament for Rongo. It is notable that across the 6th, 7th, and 10th Parliaments, he was appointed to the Cabinet, where he held several ministerial portfolios, including Minister for Industry, Labour, Transport, and Public Service. In the 11th Parliament, he served in the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security and Select Committee on Implementation. Honorable members who served alongside him will recall his active participation in debates and his substantive contributions on matters relating to education and financial sectors. He was also appointed to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, where he served as the vice chairperson from 2018 until his resignation in 2022. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno played a pivotal role in the establishment of Rongo University, Siala Technical Institute, and Miare Agricultural Training College, and further extended his support to society by financing the education of hundreds of students, including orphaned children. He was equally devoted to fostering peace and promoting community development through dialogue, economic empowerment, and support for sustainable livelihoods. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Dalmas Otieno leaves behind a rich legacy as a pragmatic leader as a pragmatic leader, valued for his insight in governance and in his steadfast service to the people, which will forever be cherished. On my own behalf and the people of my constituency, I wish to take this opportunity to condole with his family, relatives, friends, and the people of Kenya at large. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Junet?
Mr. Speaker, I want to join the Member of Parliament for Rongo in condoling with the family of Honorable Dalmas Otieno Onyango. Mr. Speaker, we come from the same county with Honorable Dalmas, and we served together one term in Parliament, in the 11th Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, that is a man who had a very distinguished career in public service. Mr. Speaker, and he was one of the most astute politicians that this country has produced. Mr. Speaker, he was the Member of Parliament, I think, for Rongo for, I think, 3 or 4 terms. And I'm sure you have served with him also in Parliament, and I'm sure he was your friend. Mr. Speaker, he was a very friendly person. I remember a famous speech of his that he made in this house in the year 2015 or 14. I can't remember the exact date. I was also in Parliament. And he spoke about being an insider, an outsider, and again an insider, in power and outside power, Mr. Speaker. And it was very hilarious. And I remember that day the House was very happy to listen to his wisdom on what it is to be in power and out of power. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Dalmas has initiated a lot of development in our county. The university that today we enjoy in Migori County, called Rongo University, was initiated by him. He has brought many, many things, schools. He has built many schools. He has built many hospitals. He has done a lot of tarmac road. Mr. Speaker, that is one of the people that Migori people used to look up to all the time until when he stopped representing them. Lastly, he was the vice chair of the Salary and Remuneration Commission until he felt that he wanted to serve the people of Migori as a governor in the last election, but unfortunately he was running on the wrong party and he didn't manage it. But Mr. Speaker, that is one man, his legacy and history will remain behind in this country. So Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues to join us. His burial is on 2nd, and I think today also there is a function being presided over by none other than the Speaker, if I'm not wrong, in the evening to help him, to help the family in giving him a decent send-off. So if you can join us today, and then also on the 2nd of October, when his burial will be happening in Kangezo village in Rongo constituency, we'll be very happy because he was a member of Parliament, he was our colleague, he served this country, he has done a lot of good things for this nation, and he was a national asset. So Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to condole again with the family, and may God stand with them at this trying moment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Owen Baya.
Mike. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues, the MP for Rongo and also the minority leader, to condole with the family of Dalmas Otieno Onyango. Honorable Speaker, for the person of Dalmas, a person who worked tirelessly for this nation in different capacities, Honorable Speaker, a man who served this country with distinction, Honorable Speaker, a man who never shied away from responsibilities, Honorable Speaker, and did his best for this country. I wish that the Lord God rest his soul in peace. Honorable Speaker, I want to draw you to one particular incident about Dalmas and I. I was a young university student, very young. and I decided to go pursue masters then. And at that time, as a teacher, when you get study leave to go and pursue your studies, Honorable Speaker, they would give you 80% of your salary when you're on study leave. But they will deduct 20% and keep it away. Then there was a circular that said even the 20% can now be given back to the student and you get a full salary. So I was at KU studying very hard. Then I got absolutely broke and I didn't have money at all. And I had chased for this 20% for like 5 months. And nobody wants to listen to me in Ministry of Education and DPM. So one day, I walked to DPM office, Department of Personnel Management. I walked there. And I met this tall man who looked at me and said, "Young man, what are you doing here so early in the morning?" And I said, my name is Owen Bayer. I am from the university and I'm trying to get my money, which people here have refused to give me. And all those secretaries who were there were trying to pull me away so that I don't talk to him. But Delmas just came and held my hand and took me to his office and asked me, "What do you want?" And I explained to him, and he called everybody. That day, I want to tell you, Honorable Speaker, I walked away from that office with my check because Dalmas said this young man must be given his check, Honorable Speaker. That is one event that will forever remain etched in my memory, the memory of good things that Dalmas did, Honorable Speaker. And he looked at me and said, "Young man, where are you from?" I told him, I am a Giriama from. He said, "You see, we want everybody in this country to have an equal opportunity, an equal chance to prosper." And Honorable Speaker, I can assure you after that, I was able to finish my master's very fast, graduated, and I thank Dalmas Otieno for helping me get that accolade. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And you are able to prosper.
Yes.
Those I'll give you 2 minutes each. Chair, budget.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to join the Member of Parliament for Ronga and my colleagues who are passing their condolences to the family of Honorable Dalmas Otieno, and to say, Honorable Speaker, that I knew Dalmas in person. And Honorable Speaker, Dalmas was a clean person. He was clean and he used to dress sharply. Honorable Speaker, I learned the spirit of dressing well from Dalmas. Honorable Speaker, Dalmas was also very clean at home. When you would go to his home was very, very clean and neat. And Honorable Speaker, Dalmas is one guy that maintained that even in his home, you had to use a napkin to eat. Honorable Speaker, you know, most of us are very careless at home. We just pick food and eat. But Honorable Speaker, for Dalmas, in his home, you must eat using a napkin. You must tuck in the napkin. Honorable Speaker, away from that, Honorable Dalmas was very wise. One of the politicians who was very wise was blessed with wisdom, but he was also very, very brainy. He was full of brains. In terms of development, Honorable Speaker, Dalmas was a development-focused leader. What Honorable Junet Mohamed has said is true, that there are so many development programs that are attributed to Honorable Dalmas in the larger Luo community. He was a man who loved peace. Honorable Speaker, in my first term, I sat in the Committee of Finance and National Planning, and Dalmas was the Vice Chairman of Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Most of the time, he was the one who would come to defend the budgets and any issues that touched on SRC before the committee. And we loved him because he was able to persuade us and convince us. During that time, Honorable Speaker, we were protesting about giving SRC their full budgets because they had interfered with our issues here as Parliament. But when Dalmas came, he was able to convince us, and we were able to, respond positively. May the soul of Dalmas rest in eternal peace.
Betsimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa niaba ya eneo bunge la Kisauni, nasimama kuomboleza na ndugu na familia ya mwenda zake. Nasema poleni sana kwa msiba mkubwa ambao mmeupata, lakini yetu kikubwa ni kwamba tunamwombea Mungu amsamehe madhambi yake, amweke katika watu wema. Na pia hii tunashukuru kwa wakati wake aliotumia kutumikia taifa hili. alikuwa anakaa usiku mwingi kufikiria taifa litasonga mbele namna gani. Ni vyema kila mmoja wetu aweze kumwombea katika hii safari anaoenda, na pia hii ni kwamba ni ishara ama funzo kwamba kila mmoja wetu ajue ataondoka kwa ulimwengu. Hakuna ambaye atabaki katika ulimwengu huu. Kwa hivyo yale ambayo tunatekeleza katika jumba hili na yale tunayoyafanya katika uongozi wetu, tuhakikishe kwamba tunafanya mazuri, kwa sababu ile safari ndugu yetu ametangulia, mjue na sisi pia safari ni hiyo hiyo. Kwa hivyo tufanye mema ili tuende tupande mazuri ili tukavune yale ambayo tumeyapanda hapa. Mimi niliwahi kufanya kazi na Mheshimiwa Dalmas katika bunge la 11, na alikuwa mtu mpole na alikuwa msikilivu, licha ya kuwa amekuwa kwa muda mrefu katika shughuli ya uongozi. Kwa hivyo langu ni kusema poleni familia, na namwombea Mungu aiweke mahali pema, aweke roho yake mahali pema peponi. Asante.
Jalango.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also mourn one of the key pillars of our community, the Luo community, and its leadership. I knew Dalmas Otieno Anyango as one of the leaders that inspired most of us to join politics, to be effective in legislation, and also just to champion leadership that anchors itself into development. If you knew Dalmas Otieno, even in every single meeting that he used to have, even in the constituency back here in Nairobi, you'd never hear him throw insults to anyone on a personal level. He anchored himself on a clean slate of campaigns where people would compete in agendas. And that one can be seen and is a testimony from all the members here who have already spoken on his track record on matters development. More so, I also mourn him and with the family, the wife, Madam Dorothy Anyango, was also my classmate in primary school. So just not mourning the leader himself, but we are also mourning much more of a family member. May his soul rest in peace. And see you guys in Kangeso on the 2nd for the burial. We'll also join you today, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have lost quite a wonderful visionary leader, Dalmas Otieno Anyango. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Mdewa community and my family, I'm not just offering because he came from Rongo, but he's also a relative. Dalmas was married, first wife was from Mdewa, Kanyamua, actually my home, my village. But I want us to condole him and remember what he stood for. As young people, we really aspired Dalmas because he went to Makerere. And you know, those days, the class of university was that. And to get a degree was something. He was a scholar, experienced, and educated. But one thing that we can always celebrate as people when we are still on the planet Earth is how to exercise power through humility. That is what he was. Clean politics, never abused anybody. I want to urge the family to stay strong. May God give them the strength. It is a difficult time, but through God's grace and power, they will see this through. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kainan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dalmas, as a businessman under the BT group of companies, I've also interacted with him as a minister, as a member of parliament, and finally as a commissioner with the SRC. So, Speaker, one of the things that I have really learned from him, in your first interaction, the man was genius. Even if you had a debate on an altercation with him, the first thing is he will humble you with his infectious laughter. Before even you commence the issue, you're already humbled. And one of the things that I have learned also from him is in politics, remember the political class are always second to your family members. So what Dalmas will do, he will say, this is politics, and you know the background, how the politics was a bit hostile at the times. He will say, this is any politician is a member of his extended family. Mr. Speaker, later on when he became a member of the SRC, he acted as a critical link person between the institution of parliament and SRC, and finally helped us solve some of the problems that have been affecting the institution of parliament. So to the people of Rongo, to the family, and to all friends, we say Pole, and I'm sure God has a purpose for everything. Poleni.
Member.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I interacted with Dalmas not as a member of parliament, but on the streets the days when the teachers would go on strike every December. And when he was in the public service, he's the one who actually gave teachers study leave with pay that leader talked about. And then number two, when he noticed that the government was not able that time to pay pensioners, we still have the same challenge. He extended the retirement age from 55 to 60 because he said those 5 years, these people are still too strong and they should work. Number three, he's actually the man who founded what we are now having as the public service superannuation scheme, the contributory pension scheme for both public service teachers and the police. And when we met him, we were a very hostile group of trade unionists, but he humbled us with his geniusness, and we were able to accept, and it's working. Finally, there's a time when we had actually hidden some document from government, yet the government assigned it. It was called legal notice number 116. And yet teachers would go on strike because of legal notice number 534. Dalmas, in one of the sessions that we were negotiating, walked in with legal notice number 116, and all of us just went away and we called off the strike. We can never forget Dalmas. He was a genius, a real serious public servant, and we remember him for that. May the people of Rongo, we take our condolences to the people of Rongo as they mourn Dalmas Otieno, a very brilliant son of Kenya.
Kamkunji, member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this obituary of our colleague, late colleague, Dalmas Otieno. I had the opportunity to serve in this chamber in the 10th and the 11th Parliament. And although he was senior to me, I had a very good relationship in which I really had the opportunities to have conversations. And he was always a very good listener. And I had a lot of, learned a lot about his experience as a former cabinet secretary in the Kenyan government. And the reforms and the ideas he brought to those ministries, which had changed the bureaucratic structure and the work of those ministries to serve the Kenyan people much better. The other thing that I also learned while he was here is that he was a gifted man. He had the gift of the gab. He was a great orator who could express himself very fluently and very clearly. It was wonderful to see how he used this particular chamber to articulate his ideas as well as serve his constituency. I think he was he had a very high sense of professionalism and an exceptional leadership qualities. And I send my condolences to his family and friends, and may he rest in peace.
Carole Omondi.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. You will recall you and the dearly departed Dalmas Otieno employed me as the first General Counsel and eventually the Chief Executive of Energy Regulatory Board, Electricity Regulatory Board, now EPRA. Dalmas was quite a phenomenon. And I remember when we worked together in the Grand Coalition, we initiated together with a gentleman called Sylvester Obongo the Rapid Results Initiative, how to fast-track government delivery system. And he was also very helpful to our political movement in the run-up to 2007 general elections, and he was part of our strategy team. He did quite a lot in development, as you have heard, about Rongo University, and very many initiatives, educating quite a large number of students in Rongo and beyond. He was also a very strong businessman. I think the first member of the Luo Nation to own a financial institution, Thabiti. So we have a lot to say about Dalmas. But I would like to invite all of us in the space of politics to reflect on his life and to ask ourselves, how do we treat those with whom we don't always agree? How do we engage with those who have different political opinions? Do we have the wisdom to pull together, to save the country, to serve the country? Or are we always on the extreme end of the divide? Other than praising him, I think it is important that we learn and draw some lessons from his life and his politics. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may the perpetual light shine upon him. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Up there, I served with Dalmas Otieno in this house from the 7th Parliament. We were members of the IPPG that brought some bit of political sanity to the country when it was spiraling towards a chaotic political election. And we have been good friends. The Kangeso School that was mentioned by Junet and Abor, the first Harambe to start that secondary school was presided over by yours truly here on his invitation, and we have maintained up to his demise a very cordial relationship. He visited me in my chambers up here 3 weeks before passing away, where we sat, and he was very jovial, always talking about Kenya. And those of you who are in the 2013 Parliament, you know he was one of the people who started and conceived CORD as a coalition and decided to go to elections. So we have lost a great man, and we will be at Kangeso to see him off on 2nd. May I request you to be upstanding to observe a minute's silence? Even those on the gallery, you be upstanding. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen. Next. Honorable Ken Chonga.
Thank you, Speaker. It's a request for a statement regarding delayed payment of pensions under the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation Staff Superannuation Fund. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, subsection 2, subsection C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning regarding delayed payment of pensions under the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation Staff Superannuation Scheme. Honorable Speaker, former employees of the National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority who retired between 2018 and 2023 upon attaining mandatory age of 60 years are yet to receive their full retirement benefits. The employees were members of the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation Staff Superannuation Scheme, which is administered by the Board of Trustees. Regrettably, the financial position of the scheme has deteriorated over the time, resulting in a deficit that has severely constrained its ability to honor its obligations. As a result, retirees are only paid 40% of their accrued retirement benefits, leaving 60% as an outstanding balance. Honorable Speaker, the affected retirees have made numerous efforts to seek redress by engaging both the Retirement Benefits Authority and the National Treasury in the hope of compelling the scheme to release the outstanding balance of their benefits or institute installment payments under a remedial plan, but these efforts have been futile as they remain unpaid to date. These retirees, many of whom lack an alternative source of income and still have dependents to support, remain unpaid to date. These retirees, many of whom lack alternative source of income and still have dependents to support, continue to face severe financial hardships and uncertainty. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the following. 1. The measures that the Retirement Benefits Authority to cause the National Water Conservation and Pipeline Corporation Staff Superannuation Scheme to pay the remaining 60% balance of the retirement benefits to those that retired between 2018 and 2023. 2, clarification on whether funding requests by the National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority to bridge the deficit and facilitate full payment of retirees' dues was approved and disbursed by the National Treasury. And finally, specific timelines within which the retirees will be paid their full retirement benefits. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Chonga. Chair, Finance and National Planning. Chair, Wapi Molo. Owen Bayer, can you inform him to bring a response in 2 weeks?
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, before we call the next order, in the public gallery, I want to acknowledge Kabiro Secondary School from Dagoretti North, Nairobi. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Thank you. Next order. Yes, Elachi, hold on. Member for Dagoretti North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to request that to allow me to just welcome Kabiro into the August House and to tell them that we welcome you. As our children, as our sons and daughters, I think the most important thing when you come into this house is you look at how many of us are from the different regions we come from and learn a few lessons about our values and, more importantly, respect. Because I know nowadays we have a big challenge with our children. I know we are good in academics, but today I pray to you that one thing you'll remember for many years and that will take you so far is where the day you remember the simple words of respect, thank you, and you can hear how honorable members, they stand, they appreciate. Before you speak, you give honor to the speaker who sits in the chair. But you'll also learn another lesson, that all of us have come from far. Each of us here have a story. So your story one day will be told when you are seated in this house. I want you to look at where you are and claim in your heart that one day you'll be the Member of Parliament of Dagoretti North, and you'll come here to welcome others, and you will indeed confirm to them that you have a honorable member who is a mother, but who is also very strict in discipline, and you know that. So I wish you well, all of you, And we want to wish also your Form 4s well as they go to do their exams. God bless you all. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Mama Dagoret. Owen Bayer.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank you for giving me this opportunity and give information that was sought by the Honorable Clive Gesairo on the matter of the Constituency Development Fund, the NGCDF, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I had an engagement with the Minister, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Treasury, the Honorable John Badi, and he had this to say. One, he said that the 58.8 billion for CDF will be disbursed before the 30th of June, notwithstanding the court process. So before...
30th of June? We are in September.
No, 30th of June, the question was, would that money be disbursed before the deadline of the court? So
okay.
Before that, all the money will have been disbursed. That is one. Secondly, he said that from October, that is next month, Treasury will be disbursing a minimum of 7 billion per month. Okay. So that's what Treasury, the Honorable John Badi said. So from next month, we'll be receiving the 7 billion. Yes. Billion. Until he finishes disbursing the whole amount, Honorable Speaker. So that is the second thing he said. He said the third, the CS Treasury has expressed willingness to appear before this House. Anytime he'll be required to come to give a full statement on his plan on how to disburse the bursary in spite of the court ruling and the court deadline of 30th June 2026 on the same manner. So, Honorable Speaker, that is the information from, but he is committed to ensure that CDF works as he subscribes to the fact that he was a member of parliament and he knows how CDF helped his people, and therefore he will continue to support and help to ensure that CDF succeeds. Honorable Speaker, that is the statement.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 8, special motion, consideration of nominees for appointment to foreign service.
Chair, Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations, Major Bashir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that, taking into consideration the findings of the Department Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations, in its report on the approval hearing of 9 nominees for appointment as High Commissioner, Ambassadors, and Consul Generals, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025, and pursuant to the provisional Article 1322E of the Constitution, Section 22 of the Foreign Service Act, Cap 1A5E, and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approvals Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons. 1, Honorable Florence Chemketich Bore, EGH, as High Commissioner to Windhoek, Namibia. 2, Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki Muchiri, CBS, as Ambassador to Ankara, Turkey. 3, Ambassador Lucy Njeri Kiruthi, MBS, as Ambassador to Bangkok, Thailand. 4, Henry Ouma Wambuma, as Ambassador to Bujumbura, Burundi. 5, Abdirashid Salat Abdille, as Ambassador to Jakarta, Indonesia. 6, Ambassador Joseph Masila, as Ambassador to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. 7, Ambassador Edwin Afande, MBS, as Ambassador to Vienna, Austria. 8, Jane Chepkorir Troitich, as Consul General to Dubai, United Arab Emirates. And 9, Judy Kiariai Nkumiri, as Consul General to Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo. Honorable Speaker, the offices of the High Commissioner, Ambassador, and Consul General stand as Kenya's outposts of sovereignty and service, as defined in Section 21 of the Foreign Service Act The head of mission is not only the president's voice abroad, but the steward of Kenya's foreign policy, the custodian of our image, the leader of our public staff, and the guardian of our public funds. Honorable Speaker, in discharge of our mandate under Standing Order 2165F, the committee approached its task with diligence, fairness, and unwavering fidelity to the Constitution, guided by the Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity and the spirit of public participation, as enshrined in Article 118. We subjected the nominees to rigorous scrutiny, measuring not only their qualification and experiences, but also their vision and their fitness to carry Kenya's flag across borders. Honorable Speaker, in keeping with Standing Order 42.2, your office relayed to the House the President's message regarding the nomination of 9 persons to serve as High Commissioner, Ambassadors, and Consul General. The names were accordingly committed to the committee pursuant to Article 1244A of the Constitution for approval hearings and reporting within the statutory timelines. To uphold transparency, the public notice was placed in the mainstream dailies on Saturday, 23rd August 2025, inviting written memoranda on the stability or otherwise of the nominees as required under Section 6(9) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approvals Act and Article 118 of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, no memoranda was received opposing the approval of any of the 9 nominees. However, the committee received an email from one Kevin Wanzala concurring with the nominations and urging for regional balance in future nominations. The email was not a statement on oath contesting the stability of the nominees as required by Section 6(9) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F. Honorable Speaker, in further fulfillment of our due diligence and as required by law, the Clerk of the National Assembly wrote to relevant agencies, the EACC, KRA, DCI, HELP, and ORPP, seeking reports on the nominees' integrity, tax compliance, criminal record status, loan obligations, and political affiliations. All agencies returned clean reports affirming the nominees' good standing. However, in conducting its due diligence, the committee noted that Ambassador Anthony Muchuri was, however, adversely mentioned in the report of the National Assembly's Development Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations on the procurement, disposal, and construction of properties of Kenya's diplomatic mission in Egypt, Japan, Nigeria, Belgium, and Pakistan. The report recommended that necessary action be taken by the relevant authorities at that time against him and others considered key architects in relation to the purchase of property for the embassy in Tokyo. Subsequently, the nominee was charged with the offense of abuse of office in procuring the Tokyo embassy property without following due process in anti-corruption case number 2 of 2013. He was, however, cleared of all charges for lack of evidence. Honorable Speaker, the committee conducted oral hearings on Wednesday, 3rd and Thursday, 4th September 2025, evaluating each nominee's academic credentials, professional record, integrity, nomination procedures, and overall stability as required under Section 6 and 7 of the Public Appointments Act. Honorable Speaker, following this exercise, the committee made the following observations. Each nominee, 1, is a Kenyan citizen and has no dual citizenship in fidelity to Article 78 of the Constitution. They each gave solemn assurance to engage in no other gainful pursuit, placing public duty above private interest in keeping with Article 771. 3, none holds political party office, reflecting impartiality and alignment with the spirit of Article 77(2). They affirmed their adherence to Articles 77 and 76 of the Constitution, vowing to uphold ethical conduct and to disclose and manage any potential conflict of interest. And 5, all 9 nominees demonstrated their competence, integrity, and preparedness worthy of service to the Republic of Kenya while serving out there in the missions. Honorable Speaker, and just a brief on each of the nominees, just as a recap. And Honorable Florence Chepketich Bore. Honorable Bore is assistant public servant who has served the country both as a legislator, that is as a county MP for Kericho County, and as a Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Labor and Social Protection. Honorable Bore holds a Bachelor of Education Arts from Moi University and a Diploma in Education from Kagumo Teachers Training College. Her early career was in the teaching profession before she transitioned into public service and politics. On the question of integrity, the committee confirmed that clearance from all required agencies, EACC, KRA, DCI, HELP, ORP, and CRB, with no adverse reports. Her record is clean, and she stands fit to fly Kenya's flag abroad. She presented a vision to deepen Kenya-Namibia relations by pursuing bilateral labor relations to protect Kenya's migrant workers in Namibia's growing sector, such as mining, hospitality, and education. She has previously served as the Cabinet Secretary for Labor, and she stands an expert on that matter. Number 2 is Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki Muchiri, nominee for Ambassador in Turkey, Ankara. Ambassador Muchiri appeared before the committee in compliance with Article 78, 1 and 2 of the Constitution. He confirmed that he is a Kenyan citizen and does not hold dual citizenship. He's a current chairperson of the Public Service Commission and president of the Association of African Public Service Commission. He previously served as Kenya's ambassador to Cuba and Libya, deputy chief of mission in Egypt, and in senior position at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His record includes overseeing the establishment of Kenya's mission in Havana, coordinating evacuations of Kenyans during the Libyan crisis, and strengthening Kenya's presence in Latin America and Caribbean. On integrity matters, as I mentioned earlier, and certainly has been charged before, but he was released on lack of evidence, and so therefore he still stands in good chance to represent Kenya. The nominee presented a vision to expand Kenya-Tokyo relations through enhanced defense and security cooperations, particularly in training, technology transfer, and peacekeeping. On economic diplomacy, he pledged to address Kenya's trade deficit with Turkey by promoting export such as tea, coffee, leather, and textiles. The committee therefore recommends his appointment as ambassador to Ankara, Turkey. Another nominee is Mr. Abdirashid Salat Abdille, nominee for ambassador to Jakarta, Indonesia. The nominee confirmed that he is a Kenyan citizen, does not hold dual citizenship, therefore meeting the requirements of Article 78 of the Constitution on eligibility of state officer and Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity. The nominee holds a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration and Political Science from the University of Nairobi, a Diploma in International Studies, and a Diploma in International Labor Standards from ILO in Turin. He previously served as Inspector in the Ministry of Labor from 1987 to 2002, Technical Advisor to Somalia's Ministry of Labor, and Chairman of KPA Joint Industrial Council from 2009 to 2020. He has participated in numerous ILO and AU labor conferences. On integrity, the committee considered his record under Article 75 and Article 771 and 2 of the Constitution and found him that no conflict of interest whatsoever. He presented a vision to enhance Kenya-Indonesia ties through conclusion of labor migration and agreements. This nominee has previously served in the Ministry of Labor and therefore has a clean record on matters dealing with labor migration and labor issues. The committee, having reviewed his credentials, recommends his appointment as ambassador to Jakarta and in Indonesia. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, and I'm sure the members will agree that the report is detailed for each of the members, and I didn't want to belabor on each specific individual. However, in conclusion, by recommending the approval of these nominees, we are persuaded that they possess the requisite academic credentials, professional competence, integrity, and leadership vision to serve Kenya's envoys abroad. They stand ready to carry that mantle with dignity and purpose. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and urge this House to adopt the committee's report. I now respectfully invite Honorable Martha Wangare to second this motion. I thank you.
Member for Gilgil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second this report. And Mr. Speaker, from the start, I would not want to repeat what the mover has said, but allow me to give exactly what we were looking at in this approval hearing. Mr. Speaker, we were looking not just at the qualifications, we were looking at the integrity and their background. We were also evaluating the fitness for that role. And on this, Mr. Speaker, you remember we have, in this parliament, actually denied a posting to a nominee to the DRC because we felt they are not fit, they did not understand their role, and they were not going to add value in terms of our trajectory as a country, to stamp our sovereignty, and to also stamp our regional integration, intra and outside this continent, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this list from the President was, as has been highlighted by the mover, had 9 nominees. Mr. Speaker, it has been my personal view and that of many other members of the committee that even as we get nominees, we must also consider career diplomats for these opportunities, because there are those people who work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, work many years and never get to actually go to the ultimate representing their country in missions, Mr. Speaker. I would want to thank the President on this list specifically because he has actually taken cognizance of that. And out of these 9 nominees, 5 are actually serving career diplomats, one being the Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki, who is the current chair of the Public Service Board. We have the Ambassador Lucy Njeri Kiruthu, MBS. We have Ambassador Joseph Masila. We have Ambassador Edwin Afande, MBS, and Madam Jane Jepkorir, who are a part of this list. Mr. Speaker, the President has also taken the issue of gender role very seriously. And in this list, out of 9, 4 are women. That is Florence Bore, Honorable Florence Bore, Lucy, Ambassador Lucy, Jane Jepkorir, and Judy Kearia. Her name was a bit difficult. Yes, Nkumiri. And also, Mr. Speaker, the mix in terms of getting career diplomats and others from outside will actually add to the richness of actually getting our people out there to be able to be representing our country in every way in definition of being a diplomat. Mr. Speaker, we were able to put them to task to ensure that they actually understand what it takes. They understood the foreign policy in terms of what are the issues that we will be advancing for this country. They understood where they stood in terms of labor migration and labor mobility, Mr. Speaker. You know, the President and this government has been very keen in terms of getting people to work outside this country, Mr. Speaker. But unless we have proper policies out there, then they continue having issues. I remember, I can quote specifically the nominee going to Saudi Arabia, being a very, very important destination for our workers out there. And there are issues that they raised that maybe as a house and as a ministry they should consider. Mr. Speaker, every time we hear there's a case in Saudi Arabia, and they ask, what is the government doing? And the mission will say, we don't have money. If it is a case in court, what can we do? We don't have money to hire lawyers, and maybe it's time the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Speaker, considered having a resident legal attaches. The same way we have trade attaches, maybe it should be the same way we have a legal attaché in every mission, so that at least they are able to help our Kenyans in distress when they're having issues in the labor mobility space, when they're having issues even in criminal matters. And Mr. Speaker, sometimes we also feel that as a country we have let our Kenyans suffer too much, yet other countries take care of their own. So, Mr. Speaker, that was one of the issues that came out from that vetting, that maybe we should have legal attaches to be attached into the missions. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, I would talk about is the synergy to work with other ministries. Specifically, the Ministry of, the Department of Diaspora and also the Ministry of Labor. When we are talking labor export, there is always something the ministry is doing. This department is doing another thing. When you meet the Ministry of Labor, they are not talking with the diaspora. They are not talking with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this synergy, Mr. Speaker, must be harnessed right from here, so that we have an all-government approach. Let everyone who is touching labor mobility be able to sit in one space and be able to to help our workers who are out there. Mr. Speaker, there was one nominee, and I would want to say something about her, called Judy Kearian Kumiri. Mr. Speaker, this posting to DRC has been, I would say, what has been like a poison chalice, because it is seen to be jinxed from the start. Because even when this nomination was done, already DRC and Kinshasa had already started to reject before even this posting is done. So even as we post this nominee, Mr. Speaker, as a country, we must also sort out the relationship between ourselves and DRC. Otherwise, it will be an exercise in futility if we keep vetting and just sending people and they are not accepted in the countries they are going to work. Mr. Speaker, this lady came in. We were actually just, I would say we were giving her a benefit of doubt, thinking she's just a teacher, she's come from Meru, and she came and actually surprised all of us in that hearing because she had done very good homework. Her interpersonal skills are very good. Her temperament is also very good, and she has been able to work in Uwezo Fund, and we felt that anyone who has even worked in Uwezo Fund, worked with GAF, these are people that are able to deal with people because they deal at the grassroots level. So it was a surprise nomination, but I would say that she is actually equal to the task to be able to do and serve where she's been posted. We only hope that we can be able to sort this out, because specifically Honorable Millie felt that she's been posted in a very harsh environment in DRC. But if we are able to sort out our relationship, then maybe we can say, we can give her an opportunity to prove herself. And I remember we were saying that most of the time we've posted men in DRC. Maybe it's time when it's a woman maybe to do the magic to ensure that we get these relationships going. Mr. Speaker, I know my vice chair has talked about all the other nominees. Ambassador Lucy Njeri Kirudu has worked in Washington, Geneva, Mexico, and London. She is very instrumental in the Kenya-US visa agreement that was there at the Kenya at 60, and we have no doubt that she'll do a good job. Honorable Speaker, Ambassador Mushiri has also served this country. He's a former ambassador to Cuba, to Libya, and we have no doubt either, because we know that he will do a good job wherever he's going. Honorable Speaker, we have had even this nomination of Abdishrad Salat. This gentleman is a labor relations expert, has actually been at the table in terms of negotiating for Kenya, and we are hoping that he will use that experience to ensure that we have good conflict resolutions and international labor standards in every other mission, so that we can talk about excellence. Mr. Speaker, Ambassador Masila has also served as a Director of Economic and Commercial Diplomacy and in the drafting of the Kenya Vision 2030 and session of paper number 1 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, these are very qualified nominees that came with this nomination, and we have no doubt that they will actually represent this country. They will help us to stamp our hegemony in the region. They will help us, even as we look at the Kenya's trajectory into becoming world class. And we hope that they can be able to work even with the sportsmen and sportswomen of this country. The one thing I heard from yesterday, Mr. Speaker, as we were giving accolades to our athletics team, is the gap between ourselves and the missions abroad. I think we can do better wherever they are. Like if we have competition in Japan, let us have our ambassador there being at the lead to ensure that our athletes are taken care of and our athletes are actually given the respect and support that they deserve. With that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to second.
Order, members on their feet, take the nearest seats. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is the taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations in its report on the approval hearings of 9 nominees for appointment as High Commissioner, Ambassador, and Consuls General, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 23rd September 2025. Order. Order. 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 132(2)(e) of the Constitution, Section 22 of the Foreign Service Act Cap 185(e), and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as 1 High Commissioner, Honorable Florence Chepngetich Bore, EGH, Windhoek, Namibia. 2 Ambassadors and Consuls General, Ambassador Anthony Mwaniki Mushiri, Ankara, Turkey. These days it's called Turkey, not Turkey. Ambassador Lucy Kirudhu, Bangkok, Thailand. Mr. Henry Wambuma, Bujumbura, Burundi. Mr. Abdulrashid Salat Abdile, Jakarta, Indonesia. Ambassador Joseph Musyoka Masila, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Ambassador Edwin Afande, Vienna, Austria. Consuls General Jane Chepkorir Toroitich, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Judy Kiaria Ngumiri, Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo. I see on the screen names of people who I don't even see here. Mary Mase, I don't see. Yes, Muge.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to support the committee report on the appointment of the various ambassadors to different countries. Honorable Speaker, I support the list and I want to take this opportunity to wish them well. Of course, hoping that this House will be able to pass the list as is. Honorable Speaker, ambassadors have been very important representatives of this country to the different countries. Honorable Speaker, they have a very important role, that they must be able to look out for the security and the welfare of the people of their country while they're in the nations that they are in. Honorable Speaker, it is their duty to make sure that the people who are working in the countries that they are representing Kenya in are comfortable and their welfare is well taken care of. Honorable Speaker, lately we have had a lot of issues, and in those countries we have ambassadors. Honorable Speaker, for the last 2 weeks, we have had a lot of issues, especially in my county, with people who come from there and work in Qatar, for example. Honorable Speaker, I want to support what a honorable member has said, that we should also make sure that they have legal experts so that they can be able to help us sort out some of the issues. There is a body that had been detained in Qatar for more than 2 months, Honorable Speaker, and the issue could not be sorted out because of inefficiencies between the relationship here and the relationship there, which is actually squarely in the court of the ambassadors. Honorable Speaker, these people that are being nominated to represent this country, Honorable Speaker, should be able to take their job seriously, and we also want to ask them that they should go an extra mile. Most of the time, Honorable Speaker, we leave here to other countries to go and do benchmarking, whereas people who have a better lived experience in the name of ambassadors cannot even come here sometimes and call meetings and say, hello, look, this is what I have seen, and this is what I like, and this is what we can domesticate here. Honorable Speaker, these ambassadors should be able to do their job, and I want to appreciate the committee because they did a good job. They made sure that each and every one of them was vetted, and they were able to actually look at their capabilities, and they have been brought to this House because they are good enough. And Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee. I think this committee has the hardest job of looking at the CVs, of looking at the competencies of people who do a very critical job in this country. So I appreciate the committee, and I want to wish the ambassadors the very best. And we want to thank also the President for also taking the shortest time possible to be able to submit those nominees, and the committee for taking the shortest time possible as well to be able to vet them. We want to wish them the very best, and they must remember that they are the flag bearers of this country. They are the image of this country, and therefore they have to do a good job so that this country and the people who live in the countries that they have been nominated to are having a better security and welfare while there. I support the motion, Honorable Speaker.
Mama Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. na mimi pia niweze kuwapongeza kamati andalizi ambayo imeweza kuwapiga msasa hawa walioteuliwa, Mheshimiwa Spika, kama maambasada ambao wa mabalozi ambao watahudumu katika mataifa tofauti tofauti. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka kwanza kuwapongeza hawa walioteuliwa na niwaambie Kenya na picha sura ya Kenya iko kwenye mikono yao. Kule nje watakapokwenda waangalie kuwa wanaweka mahusiano mazuri baina ya Kenya na mataifa ambayo watahudumu, waangalie yale matunda ambayo yanaweza yakashuka katika taifa hili ili tuweze kupata matunda mazuri ya uhusiano baina yetu na mataifa ndo ambayo wanahudumu. Mheshimiwa Spika, na niweze kusema pia Mheshimiwa Spika, na unawivu kama mama kutoka Pwani, kwa sababu nikiangalia katika hii list sio ni watu kutoka kwetu, japokuwa hawa wanaweza kufanya kazi, lakini wakati ambao utafika wakati mwingine tuangalie sehemu kama hii Saudi Arabia. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni sehemu ambayo kwamba inataka mtu ambaye anajua culture, ile itikadi za wale kule anakokwenda, malezi yao na ile mazingara yao vizuri, na ajue kuwa kuna matatizo mengi sana kule Saudi Arabia ambayo kwamba yamekuwa yakija Kenya, na licha ya yote kumekuwa na language barrier. Mheshimiwa Spika, ambayo kwamba mtu akienda pale katika embassy na haelewi pengine lugha ya Kiarabu inakuwa ni matatizo kidogo. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hiyo katika uteuzi utakaokuja wa miaka inayokuja, Mheshimiwa Spika, tuweze kuangalia yale mazingira na mtu ambaye anapelekwa sehemu fulani ili aweze kufanya kazi akiwa na ule, yani akiwa amestawika vizuri. Mheshimiwa Spika, na Mheshimiwa Spika, pia niweze kusema kama nimpongeze pia Mheshimiwa Martha alivyosema kuwa tunataka pia tupate kule labor attaches ama attaches ambao watakuwa wanasaidia watu wetu ambao wako sehemu za mbalimbali. Kwa mfano kama hawa wafanyakazi ambao wanafanya kazi nje, mtu kutoka pengine kule Jeddah ama atoke Ajman kuja paka Riyadh ni mbali kutafuta kusaidiwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hiyo tukiwa na hawa attaches watakuwa wanachukua yale matatizo ya Wakenya wakihakikisha kuwa wanayatatua ama wanaweza kufikisha katika embassy ambapo Mkenya pengine hawezi kufikia kwa wepesi. Mheshimiwa Spika, lakini awali ya yote mimi niwapongeze na nizidi kuambia nyinyi ni sura ya taifa. Mkienda kule wekeni bendera ya Kenya mbele, wekeni sifa ya Kenya mbele, fanyeni kazi kwa bidii mpaka sifa ya Kenya katika mataifa mengine iwe juu, kama vile juzi na jana tumebeba bendera yetu juu kwa wale wanariadha. Mheshimiwa Spika, waonyeshe sura ya Kenya iwe na upendo katika mataifa mengine na walete mahusiano mazuri, na hata kama kuna matunda yale ambayo yanaonekana yako kule wawe wajanja kuyafuata na kuweza kuelezea serikali kuwa hapa kuna mwanya huu na kuna mwanya huu ambao unaweza ukasaidia taifa baina ya taifa. Kwa hayo mengi na machache, Mheshimiwa Spika, na wapongeza. Asante sana.
Yes, Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for this report. Posting of ambassadors and high commissioners is a very important work or task for the country. And those individuals who have been identified to represent us in those far foreign countries must walk the talk, must represent us effectively. Honorable Speaker, they are the ones who will pursue our foreign policy objective in those countries where they have been assigned. Today, what is really important around the world is what is called economic diplomacy, where every country is positioning itself to try and gain something from the other side. Those who have been appointed as head of missions, they are the flag bearers. They are the main representatives of the head of state and also the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, recently I was fortunate to visit the state of Botswana. In Botswana, cattle or livestock is a major part of the economy. The first is diamond, then the second is livestock. We were lucky that the ambassador was able to, the High Commissioner was able to effectively conduct us around that country. Many parts of that country are ASAL, arid and semi-arid lands. But when you see how they were able to make livestock a major stay of that economy, it indeed showed us that we can equally borrow from other countries. But had the ambassador not engaged, not did her due diligence, then we were not able to see many good things in that country. Honorable Speaker, the idea of having diplomats to serve as ambassadors in this list, as already told to us by the Honorable Vice Chairman, it is important that we must give diplomats chance to rise up the ladder. Because if we keep on bringing people from outside, I think to an extent it will undermine our diplomacy in a big way. There are people who have burned the midnight oil. They have gone to school. They have gained the necessary experience to be ambassadors and high commissioners. If they are sidestepped, then I think even the morale within that ministry, to a large extent, will be undermined, and people are not likely to put in their best. Honorable Speaker, the other issue which I want to talk about is the issue of relationship within our embassies. You will go to a mission, and then you will be told that there's a lot of infighting. And I think one of the tasks that an ambassador or high commissioner has to do is to be able to administer and manage that particular mission. And if they don't do that, then what suffers is those who are supposed to be represented by that posting. Finally, Honorable Speaker, more and more, our foreign missions are about representing the diaspora. Today, a major part of contribution to the national economy is the diaspora. Ambassadors and high commissioners must spend all the necessary time to bring the diaspora together, to make them feel that while they are outside there, the embassy is home away from home, so that they are able to build to the well-being and prosperity of this country. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery, Ngaru Girls School from Kirinyaga Central, Kirinyaga. On my behalf and on behalf of the House of Parliament, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to Parliament. Thank you. Yes, Amisi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the report of the spoken before. Honorable Speaker, this House, last Parliament, we passed a Foreign Service Bill 2023 that gave the President a leeway to include career diplomats in the appointment of ambassadors. And this latest appointment, Honorable Speaker, has exactly done that. We have even those who come from other careers or politicians have also exhibited a high prowess on matters of people-to-people relations. Honorable Speaker, most of us here are actually diplomats. When most don't get to be re-elected, eventually they eye to be diplomats, ambassadors, and high commissioners. And basically because we carry people-to-people relationship. We are here because we are able to talk to people, we are able to relate with people, and this is one of the pillars of diplomacy. An ambassador is what we call in international relations a plenipotentiary of the nation. So he has the full powers of the nation to make agreements, conventions on behalf of the nation. Secondly, Speaker, foreign relations, interstate relations has changed. What the committee also was concerned is how the individuals who have been appointed understood the evolving environment of diplomacy. Honorable Speaker, since the Westphalian system of 1648, the diplomacy and interstate relations has, over the years, changed. How states used to relate with each other during the Cold War is different on how the states related with each other in post-Cold War and in communism and imperial West capitalism period. And now we've evolved over the years. Now we are talking about the trade liberalization. We are now into the AI, artificial intelligence. So basically this committee also wanted to know how these individuals understand the evolving environment in which our interstate relationship is undertaken, how they are techno-savvy because of modern modernization, globalization, and all those that comes with the technology. And these individuals were able to really portray that understanding of the new environment under which the states operate. And Honorable Speaker, I'm one of the members who vetted these ambassadors.